Now, joining me in the studio is Ambrose Amodion, CRO, that's the Chief Research Officer, Invest Data Consulting Limited, to analyze what went down at the stock market yesterday. Thank you so much for joining us, Ambrose.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we see the stock market actually sustaining its previous positive outlook on Thursday amid sell-offs and buy interest as investors gained 41 billion naira. And then we see that this looks like some trend. But what do you make of this level of sentiment in Thursday's activities?
Actually, it's a continuation of what we saw on Wednesday, that investors are gradually coming back to the market, and this is what every investor is looking up to. Because after the market has suffered loss for about 5 trading days, there's a market breaking out on Wednesday and sustaining it on Thursday. It's a good omen for the market. I also believe that as far as we're expecting more of quoted companies to release their audited results for 2021, that will be another push for the market. But as far as this crisis in Ukraine and Russia continue to linger, it's also putting sort of a high risk for traders in any form of the market, either in commodity market or in futures, because as far this volatility is ongoing, investors should just be very careful. Let them just use their stop loss very well, and at the same time, don't be greedy. Once you see in a position that you have made money, cash out your money and go to that and wait, because in a volatile market, what you think that you made money, market can next day bring it down. If you have lost what you have made the previous, that means let your investment objective guide you. Don't be greedy, because in a volatile market, it's a trend that go up and down, but it can be against you at any time. For that, use your stop loss at any given time, and at the same time, let your investment objective and your trading plan guide you. Don't be guided because of other persons waiting to make 100%. Once you have set 20% for yourself, meeting that 20%, visit the market and come back for another position. That is way to, because especially now that we're seeing this volatility, whatever happens globally will always reflect on our market, because that fear and panic will always be there. The 5 days we saw was the panic selling that brought the market to that level. But the good thing is that our market has become a sort of stable market. Looking at over a month, market has become in a one like we call consolidation state. That consolidation state, that market is waiting for either a breakout up or down. But as far as the market is trading above 47,000, the index mark, for me, it's a good one. But anytime it crosses down, that is where panic can come to our market. But as far as it's above it, there's no cause for alarm, because the market is still strong and still trending up.
Do you see this upward trend continuing, especially as the Ukraine-Russia crisis continues?
Yeah, because one, our market is depending on a major factor that support equity prices. Let me put that language. One is that it's earnings, because if you have been rewarded for investing in a company, you want to buy more. What move the price of what is called Presco to about almost 125 naira just in the last 2 trading days. There's a lot of information people expect that they're going to pay a good dividend and bonus which will come. Such information will always impact on stocks. For me, as an investor, always use your stop loss. Always use your investment to guide, because the market is volatile. If you fail to take your profit, the market will take it from you.
Okay, so let's see your live chart to know what to expect.
Yeah, actually, for the past 1 month, from the 7th of February to date, you can see that the market is on this blue mark. It shows that the market is trending in between this blue mark, waiting for a breakout. But it tried to break out. That was around the March, February 23rd. It touched as high as 47,613.72, which is good. But since then, markets are traded before reversing the last 2 trading days now on Wednesday and Thursday coming up. Once it breaks out this level, that means market will enter another new trending position, and that's where many of us are looking at. Once you enter that position, you as a trader or investor, don't be guided that the market is trending up. Always be guided that you're making money.
That's where we are right now.
Yeah, because if you look at this uptrend from here to here, 61, this is what we saw in early January and all this. It's a good trend, but since February, the market is on on a side trend. We'll call it a side trending. This side trend tells you that market is not moving away from this consolidation level now. Once it break out here with a good volume, man, it's a good time to buy. But today being Friday, I said that market will be missed. But because market have suffered for almost like 3 trading days of the week, then before today, I see that missed performance now today. But as from next week, we expect big companies like Total, Fixing, and other to release their audited account. Once you start the market again, you change the face of the market, because I'm telling you, the market is driven by rumor or news, and this news comes to the market, especially when it comes to earnings news. It's a very important news that when it comes to the market, investor will react to it as they're reacting to what Presco does, the notification of their board meeting on the 23rd of March. For me, the market is still very, very strong. But this range is what we're looking at as an investor or trader. Keep your eye on this quality level. Once it break out up, it's a good time for you to jump into that new position. But as far as this, you just watch your position and accumulate gradually those that you are in the right position that has good fundamental. For me, the market is still in order.
Let's look at the gainers of the day. Like RTB Risco went up that price gain of 6 kobo to close at 67 kobo, and then we see Oando gaining 43 kobo to close at 5 naira 30 kobo. What are some of the factors driving this, apart from, of course, the Ukraine-Russia crisis?
Yeah, actually, for me, for RTB Risco, it's just market sentiment, because there's no fundamentals to support the movement. That is why I told the investor earlier that if you're in that kind of stock, don't be greedy. Once you hit your target, exit your position. For Wando, Wando is going to kind of a net benefit from what is happening in Ukraine, because any market of the world, I can see that the oil-related stocks are going up. But Wando, because they are not transparent, it have been lagging behind before now. But just yesterday, we saw kind of a volume spike in Wando, and price was up just because of market sentiment, not because of their fundamental. Because there is a kind of a positive, fundamental news for the sector. Because of then, you can see that is why we are seeing them well, not because of their result, of course. Nobody has seen the result of Wando for the past 5 years to know what their position. If just because of this fundamental news that's happening in that sector, fine, is good. Also, they said before end of April, they're likely to see that 2001 or 2019 or 2020 result. That is not giving us the real position until we see 2021 position to date. That's when we can now take the decision of the Wando. But if they are giving us 2019 result or 2020 result, it's far past. It can't guide us. But if they give us real position, but for me, it's just that fundamental news of that sector is what is influencing the Wando, not because of their number.
The losers also, we see Royal Exchange leading the losers list with 14 kobo loss. And then we see ABC by ABC Transport also losing 3 kobo to close at 32 kobo. All of these losses, what's the new level of prices, especially as we look at the companies that lost?
For Royal Exchange, for me, it's purely profit taking in that stock. And at the same time, investors also kind of position in insurance sector. If you look at the last few days, we have seen that insurance companies are the one dominating the gainer style. It tells that they are seeing potential in that sector. Despite they are not expecting dividend from them, it tells that investors are just, but for Royal Exchange, it's just a profit taking. For ABC Transport, for me, that is just profit taking activity too, because no fundamental much to talk about. If you're to be organized an economy like mature the market, anything to do with transport is where investors will be looking at, because no matter what is happening, you must move from one point to the other. But for the stock,
even despite the fuel scarcity,
even though that you have to impart it, to now impart on goods and services, the price must go up. But you can't say prices are up, you are going to important place, you start to. That's why I tell you, anywhere in the world, if you want to really check economic activities, look at the transport sector. But here we don't have an index to give us that guide. But for ABC, for me, it's just for market activities.
All right, let's wrap this up. What do we expect today?
No, we expect a missed market from the market today, because yes, stock like Presco will still inch up today and others, but that can also put the market up. We believe that investors also are acquiring some MTN, especially those institutional investors that were giving 70% of their subscription during the last offer for sale. They are still not taking more of the position from the market. That means MTN might likely also support the market to close positive today.